everybody, and welcome to Silent Podcast, the place where everything but silent. I'm your host Isaiah with the first episode of the Big Three podcast, where if you have been on Silent Podcast before, I'm one of the co-hosts for the anime club. Obviously, we're taking a little hiatus for that, but I was like, I really want to talk about my favorite three anime, which is Bleach, Naruto, and One Piece. So I made a podcast for it where I'm just gonna bring some friends on every now and then and just talk about those three series. But this one obviously is about One Piece. So I have a very fun panel here. So first, obviously, Ryan, back from the anime club. Ryan, what's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Excited to talk about anime again. It's been a while, over a year, I think now.
And then we also have Sarah Beth. Sarah, what's going on?
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm a newbie to One Piece, as in I just picked it up last September, but I'm all caught up now, and I have a lot to say. So thank you for having me on.
For sure. I was really hyped when I saw you post on Twitter that you were getting into it. What's your opinions on it? Like, how do you feel about the series right now?
Right now, I feel very betrayed by all of my friends because there's a lot of anime that I'd never gotten around to, that a lot of people had watched. And people would be like, oh, yeah, you should watch those series. And yeah, and watch One Piece too. But nobody ever told me, like, no, you need to actually watch, you need to get really into one, it's actually a masterpiece though. No, you really need to read it. Nobody really emphasized to me. So I went into it just thinking oh, it's I'm probably gonna really like it. I'll like it the same amount that I like Bleach, or I like Naruto, or I like Hunter x Hunter. And then when I actually got into it, I was like, oh no, for me personally, this is a complete other level of epic story, and I'm so obsessed with it. So I feel betrayed. I'm like, why did no one tell me? They let me go over 20 years without reading this. What were they thinking? But it's water under the bridge now. I've read it, so
Awesome. Now I remember, so I got Ryan into it actually, and I remember I would be at work literally with my headphones on talking to Ryan, where we would literally just binge the show, and then he eventually caught up with the manga. Ryan, you're like a super fan at this point, right? Like I see the art in the back.
So.
How do you feel about the manga so far on that side?
I love it. I think that the current arc, Egghead, is crazy because now we're out of that Wano bubble and we know what's going on outside of the world. And every chapter, it just feels like I can't even predict what's going to happen because they'll just show random characters who haven't appeared in chapters.
Yeah, and it's crazy just to see the growth of the series as well. Before we even get into that, obviously, they got the Netflix series coming. We just got another movie, One Piece Red. Theme parks and all this stuff. It's so cool to see how far this has gotten. Allegedly, the show's ending soon. I don't know how true that is, but they say that every year. So, what are you gonna do? But so I guess we could start talking about what's going on in the manga. So if you can't read the title, full spoilers, we're all caught up. So don't watch this, catch up, and then come back if you don't want to be spoiled. But so I wanted to talk first of all, and I guess Sarah, we can start with you. So how do you really feel about what's going on in the story now? We just saw Shanks and all this crazy stuff going on with Kid and all that craziness, and then how do you feel about all that?
Well, I'm so conflicted. Shanks has been a character that I've really, really liked the whole time, but I've also felt wary of because I know that he knows more information than he's telling people. I know that he's got some sketchy connections to the elders and things, and I worry, and I know that he also wants the One Piece too. So it's I think a lot of people think, oh, Shanks is gonna let Luffy get the One Piece. And I'm I'm not convinced. I don't know if I don't know if everything that he's doing is really to help Luffy. And so I'm I'm off and on. Sometimes I'm 100% Shanks. Sometimes I'm oh, Shanks is making me worried. But in particular right now, I was a big Kid fan. I really liked Kid. I love the duo of Luffy, Kid, and Law together. I haven't had enough. I do need to see those three get back together. But it doesn't look good for Kid right now. If Shanks really did take Kid out, I don't know how I'm going to feel. I'm not going to say Shanks is wrong for it, but just me personally, I don't know if I could forgive him because I really, really like Kid, and I will be devastated if he's truly out of the game for good.
I'm afraid. I think he's actually dead, and you know,
Uh,
Oda is
No.
full of crap sometimes, you know, so until we see a
Yes.
body, you know, so
I'm not
but
seeing a One Piece death. Not right now.
I'm never convinced of One Piece deaths at all anymore, but it's like Shanks is crazy, bro. Like the way that he really handled that was wild. And even when the narrator comes on, it says completely obliterated. I'm just like, all right, like maybe it's for real this time because you
No.
narrator only talks when something crazy goes on. But no, it's the kid treatment is kind of wild because if you watch him pre-time skip, you know, he's really gassed up as just like he's one of Luffy's equals. The only thing that's kind of setting him ahead of Luffy bounty wise because he's more aggressive, more violent.
Yeah.
And then even when, you know, we see him post time skip, you know, he's kind of getting gassed up because like the Apu and Hawkins are coming to him for the alliance, and you know, Killer and everything on Wano. Even though, you know, some people feel like Law carried Kid in that fight, you know, to each their own. But I don't know, it's just crazy to just see him like just drop like that. Like I was shocked. How do you feel about it, Ryan?
Um, I don't think he's dead. I think he still has some room left in the story. Maybe he's not in contention for the One Piece anymore. I could see that just based on the wording. It said like his crew was it like eradicated or something?
Annihilated. Yeah, I was thinking
Annihilated?
of that.
Yeah.
Annihilated.
That just makes me think that maybe the crew's not going to get back together and he's not going to go for the One Piece. They took his poneglyphs, I think. Yeah,
Mm.
Shanks took his poneglyphs. So now they're just out there in the water somewhere. Who knows what's going on?
Mhm.
No, it'll be wild, man.
And it is like because now I'm afraid I'm misremembering, but Shanks is the one that took Kid's arm, right?
That was Ben
So,
Beckman.
It was Ben
Oh, it was
Beckman.
Ben.
Yeah.
It was Ben
Mhm.
Beckman.
Yeah.
So I feel like you're onto something, Ryan, with more to the story because I don't think that would be a totally satisfying ending for Kid, considering the history that he has with the red-haired pirates. So I feel like he might still pop back later, but I definitely think he's not a contender for the One Piece anymore, unfortunately. I mean, not unfortunately, because like, you know, we want Luffy to have it, but
Okay. And it's just also tough because it's like, all right, another thing that I always wanted to look at, you know, when you see these other pirates, it's I mean mainly the Yonka, but you see the other pirates, they usually have people on their crews that are like notable that you can remember. The Kid pirates, I mean, they have a couple named people, but other than Killer, I don't really recognize most of them. Them
yeah.
just giving up so quickly, like, oh, take our poneglyph, like we're sorry. Like I'm just like, come on now, like, like I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like some of the other crews they have really they have crazy loyalty to like their captains.
Yeah.
And so I wonder if it was just meant to kind of like show like they just care about Kid so much that like they're like, oh, we'll give up everything, just like don't kill our captain, which I kind of like. And I feel like Law's crew is also very much like that. Like if that had been Law's crew, I think they would have absolutely done the same thing. But Killer, of course, was unique in that like out of like oh, what did they call it? Like the worst generation.
Yeah.
I mean, he was in there like with Zoro, and neither of them were captain. So Kid did at least have that about his crew to make him stand out, kind of like Luffy did, where like him and his first mate were included in that generation. So his first mate was at least like strong enough to be distinguished from like all of those other captains' first mates.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to say, like, it was crazy. I personally thought that like his Devil Fruit Awakening or whatever would be like something on the Magneto level, if you ever like, you know, like something with electromagnetic and all that stuff. But obviously it was just the gun, and you know, as far as we're aware, you know, that's the strongest move. So watching the Shanks fight and just seeing him pull that out almost immediately, I'm just like, damn.
He didn't even get to attack. Shanks read the future.
Yeah. But that was also really scary of Shanks. I mean, we know that Shanks is like a master hockey user.
Yeah.
But I feel like as it goes on, it just gets scarier and scarier where it's like, I feel like he can just legit read the future at this point. Like, it's not like a Katakuri thing. Like, it's more expansive than that, which is like, how did he get these hockey levels? It's like, but I want to see more.
Yeah, he's on a crazy level. But you know, if we talk about Kid, I guess we have to also talk about Law. Because Law, obviously, we don't know what his status is.
I have some theories.
What's your theory? Go ahead.
So we see Blackbeard at 3 different points in the current story. We see him in the recently coming up to Egghead. We see him at his pirate island, and then we see him fighting Law somewhere in the ocean. So there's some order that goes on there, and my guess is it started with him fighting Law. He goes back to his island, and now he's at Egghead. So
Hmm.
I, whether Law got away or he's being held at Blackbeard's island, I don't know which one it is. I think it would be interesting narratively if Law was captured, and then maybe like Beppo goes to Luffy or something,
Hmm.
just to like get him back.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the last chapter, I mean, we see that some people are actually locked up on the Black Bear Pirate Island right now, which kind of opens the door for some interesting dynamics. Because I mean, Perona's in there. I'm sure Mihawk's not going to let that fly. You see Pudding in there. I'm sure the Black Bear, I mean, the Big Mom Pirates ain't going to let that fly. So there's a whole lot of people in there. Kobe's in there. He knows a lot of people. But I think Law is easily, you can't kill Law off yet. Like they introduced the whole
No,
concept of the immoral surgery and everything. So he has to be locked up at least.
Yeah, it's like a Chekhov's gun. Like it's
Yeah.
gonna get used at some point. So like I
Yeah.
I feel confident Law's fine. Well,
Yeah.
he's made he's not dead. Maybe he's not fine, but he's not dead.
Yeah. So I'm just like, I'm very curious what their plan for him is. Like, I'm sure he's got to use the surgery at some point. I mean, is that for Emo? Is that for Luffy? If he's in a dying situation, is that for Blackbeard? Like, is that what he's holding him for? I don't know. But we also know that he's on the hunt for some really powerful devil fruits. I feel like that's the only reason he will be wanting to lock some of these people up. I don't know what the direction is there, but it's fun to look at.
Mhm. There definitely has to be some sort of plan because we know that Blackbeard doesn't have any qualms just killing people that he wants the devil fruit
Yeah.
powers
No.
of. But right now he has people like Perona's devil fruit power is pretty powerful. So is Pudding's. And so it's hard for me to believe that he wouldn't be taking them right away if he didn't have like a specific plan. And he certainly has the power to kill them. We know that. So
Yeah.
he's definitely planning something, but I'm also really excited to see where that goes. I like particularly in One Piece how different characters, sometimes unexpected, end up working together. So like a Kobe team up with Perona and Pudding, maybe some of her other siblings from Big Mom if they come to save her, with Garp. I think that could be really cool to see them working together. Yeah. And if Law, I didn't actually think about that, Ryan, but yeah, you're right. If it's possible that Law and some of his crew are also locked up there, and that would also be really exciting. I would love to see Kobe and Law fighting together.
It's like another Impel Down, maybe.
Yeah. Which I could see him doing because he's mirrored arcs before. Like you have Alabasta, which is like Crocodile, trying to take over, and then that's mirrored in Dressrosa, where it's like, well, this is what it would have looked like if Crocodile had been successful. Like this is what it looks like when it is. So I could see it like there being a mirroring there between like what's happening now, like mirroring Impel Down.
Facts. Okay. And I mean, I guess we could start talking about the Blackbeard situation because I mean he's been very active as of lately. Thankfully, I love Blackbeard. If you don't know that,
I hate Blackbeard.
we're on opposite sides there. But now he's been hella active lately. We're going to see obviously in the last chapter, he got Kobe down. He's been giving all his crewmates devil fruits, and we can talk about that in a second. We even have the Boa Hancock situation. He tried to get her devil fruit. I wasn't sure how that was going to work originally, but after seeing one of not pacifists,
Seraphims.
Yeah, thank you. One of the Seraphims use it. I'm like, okay, well, you don't necessarily have to be like this beautiful person to use it, right? So I'm really curious, who is our end game boss at this point? Because there's a lot of candidates. There's Emu, there's Blackbeard. Some people think Rox is still alive for some reason, so I mean he's there. I don't think Akainu is, but he's also an option. There's a lot of people. But what is the next move for Blackbeard, Ryan? Like, what is he going to do?
I think that Blackbeard is again. I think Sarah Beth said that he's holding everybody for a reason, probably. And I think especially with Pudding, she has a third eye that can possibly read the poneglyphs, and he does need that. So I mean, he's just going for the One Piece. That's all he wants, I think.
I mean, I feel like it's probably even farther than just the One Piece. I think he's going for world domination, because his big thing right now has been like, at least he hasn't said it, but like he's really following in the steps of Rocks. He named his ship after him, calling it something of Zebek. And he's literally on the pirate island that was Zebek's home base at first. So I feel like he has plans higher than that. But I just also want to see how he plans on completing that, because I don't think he has any poneglyphs yet, does he?
Not that we know of, but
Yeah, I don't think that have been mentioned at least.
I'm sure he could get them from Law.
Maybe he's waiting for them to all just like go to one person, then he'll just steal them. You know, like
he's a rat. He waits people out.
He takes the cowardly route. We've seen it multiple times. I mean, you can say it's smart because it is smart, but it's definitely a contrast to how the other characters are going about things.
Yeah. So, you know, I'm really curious to see what his plan is. Obviously, he really wanted that Boa Hancock fruit. And obviously, there's also the opportunity that ancient weapons come into play. Like, there's some people who think that he could be going for the ship at some point. I don't know who's really going to go for that. We know where it is now. Obviously, it's at the bottom of Wano. I don't know if he's going to be the one to go for it, but there are some people who do feel like that's also a possibility. But yeah, I love Blackbeard. I'm just trying to figure out what is his path. I feel like he has to, if not fight Shanks again, kill him narratively. Like, I feel like he has to kill someone important. Maybe that's going to be Garp now that we see him down there. But yeah,
no,
like,
I'll be so sad.
Like, give him a reason to be pissed. Like, Blackbeard set Ace up, but he isn't the one who killed him. I feel like in order for Luffy to really go in order to attack him, either someone really important has to be captured, or someone has to be hurt. And I think that Garp at this point is the prime candidate to be that person that Luffy is like, we got to go after this guy. So I don't know. Or Shanks. I don't, that's still a possibility. But yeah, I don't know. So yeah.
Wasn't it? Oh, sorry.
Has Blackbeard ever said that he wanted the One Piece?
What was this thing about his dreams? What was the specific thing he said? Do you remember, Ryan?
Hold on. Let me see.
No, fact check it for me.
Yeah,
because him and Luffy have like around the same dreams. I think it's something with the One Piece, because
I remember they have that conversation when they're before Skypiea.
Yeah,
but I can't remember what all was said.
Yeah, well, Ryan's getting that, but
it's it's a mystery for him. We don't really know his true plans.
Oh, okay, yeah, because that make. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't care about the One Piece at all, and could like come out of left field with like a completely other like motivation or goal. There's still so many mysteries going on. It's really hard to pinpoint like what the best move or next move is for really anyone at this point, because it's like there's so many puzzle pieces still missing.
And there's also, I mean, a huge other big question mark with him. Like, if you look at his crew, Aokiji's there. Like, what is Aokiji's
what is he doing?
He's
he can't
sword.
be bad. He's undercover. I think he's sword too. He's sword, he's undercover. Because also when Kobe brings up that he's sword, there's like that panel, he makes that face. See, Ryan also saw it. Because I know in my heart he's not bad. There's no way. He didn't turn to Blackbeard. I believe it in my soul.
Yeah. Maybe he wants to be sword, obviously, so he doesn't have to kill people he doesn't want to kill. I feel like deep down my heart he doesn't want to kill Robin, which is why he hasn't done it yet.
No, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe that's another reason. We did just see X Drake, so that's obviously the easiest route. I'm just like, I'm a little hesitant now because he seemed really confused. Like, why are you sword? Like I don't know.
I mean, he's been out of it for a while, maybe.
True, that's true. So, but I mean, even with X Drake, I mean, he was out of it and he was still in communication, So we'll have to
I could see him maybe not knowing though, because I think Garp doesn't go sword until after Marineford, right?
Yeah.
And so Aokiji, right after Marineford, has the big fight with Akainu, and then leaves the Navy. So he could realistically not know that Kobe also joined Sword. Like he could have genuinely just not known. So
agreed. Yeah. Oh, and also thinking about it, now that we know the classification to get to Sword, anyone thinking Akainu was in there, he's definitely not in there anymore.
No, he's not.
No. Like I know there was the whole tattoo thing, and no way. Because
I always hated that theory.
I mean, it was interesting though, because people thought that Akainu and Aokiji were both in Sword, and they faked their fight or whatever, and like they left on like solid terms or something. I don't. And, you know, it's far fetched now. I believe
Aokiji breaks off his own arm or whatever.
That's something they would do in One Piece. It's not crazy. But okay, so Sarah Beth, I want to ask what is your opinions on this next thing, which is where do we go from here in terms of Egghead? Obviously, you know, CP9 and the Straw Hats are kind of teaming up together. Somebody is kind of double agent right now, killing one of the Vegapunks. We know there's some admirals on the way. Like, how do you feel about all that?
I honestly, Egghead is just throwing me for a complete loop, because I feel like every time they visit, like we get a chapter focusing on it, it's like something completely unexpected happens. I think when it first started, I was like, oh, okay, here we're gonna finally get the answers, some information about the revolutionaries, some information about Kuma and Bonnie, and I kind of thought that's what the focus of it was going to be, and it's just gone completely off the rails from that. I really genuinely don't know what to expect from here. We know that an elder's on his way, so we might finally get to see a little bit more of like what they actually bring to the table powers wise, which is exciting, but also very scary. I know whatever goes down with Bonnie and Kuma is going to be devastating, and I'm probably going to end up crying tears out my nose. Like, I just know it's going to be really sad. Yeah, I'm not quite sure where they're going, and they seem like they're in such a situation, like I don't know quite how they're going to get out of it. But I'm also really excited to see them teaming up with Kaku and why am I forgetting his name? Leopard.
Oh, Rob Lucci.
Yeah, with Lucci. Because I like Lucci and Luffy's dynamics, so I'm excited to see them, like, even if it's temporary, fighting on the same side. Oh yeah, and there's the thing with people have been capturing the people and keeping them the agents and keeping them under the island. There's so much going on. I really can't even begin to predict. Do you guys have theories?
I saw a theory that went something like the island is alive because you know, what was that thing that the number kept changing on the top of the island or something?
Okay.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
I didn't notice either.
So there's something like when Vegapunk uploaded his consciousness to all the clones, that it also went into the island because it connects all of them. So there was that theory. So it's hard to tell still.
The only thing is that whole island fruit now is starting to make me think like, well, they did that 2 times, you know? Like, I don't know. It's quizzical. We'll see, but no, that's not. You know,
island fruit also threw me off because okay. So did he? I mean, obviously the island was already there. Yeah. So he just like became one with that island, or can he just create islands?
I don't understand it.
I think it's just a better version of Pika's fruit. Like I think you know, he can go in and out when he wants, but like maybe it's almost like, you know, he's just a part of the island now, and he can just like make figments of himself or like travel from like point A to point B like instantly maybe. I don't know. Like I also think of what's the guy's name from Naruto? Zetsu. Sorry, Zetsu. I'm thinking Zetsu where he just comes out the trees and everything. Like I'm thinking something like that, but I don't think it's anything OP where, you know, you could just like completely like crush someone, or if you wanted to. But yeah, I think he just becomes one with the island. That's all.
Dang.
Yeah, but yeah, the Vegapunk thing. Obviously, I think it's probably one of the Vegapunks are just evil because I thought maybe someone infiltrated it and did something crazy, but since there's CP agents down there already, then obviously someone that's existing there is doing it. So one of the CP agents are bad.
Didn't we figure that out already?
Yeah, I
It's
just don't know
like
which one it is though.
I'm looking at their
That's
names right now. I still don't know.
yeah, they're hard
You
to
mean,
learn.
well, we know that one of the Vegapunks what turned against them, the
Yeah.
glutton.
Oh,
one?
York. Yeah.
Okay.
But then, but what you're saying is there's like a CP. Not wait, is it 9 or 0? I forget that there's one
There's
of those
CP9
Zero right
agents
now.
that are back, but 0, yeah.
Um,
0.
So because Stussy was working with Vegapunk, but then so you think there's somebody else who's like working against all of them?
I think one of the main Vegapunks. Obviously, I feel like there's another
okay.
one because somebody shot one of the Vegapunks. I think it's one of the Vegapunks. I don't know their name specifically. One of those Vegapunks.
We got introduced to them so fast, and then there's so many other things going on. I'm like, I feel the same way with all the new Sword members. I'm like, I'm not gonna remember who any of these are. Like,
at all.
No, I can't remember these names.
But one of those Vegapunks obviously have been locking Cypher Pole agents down there. So I don't know which one it is. Whichever one is doing that obviously shot one of our Vegapunks as well. And I don't know which one specifically, but they're probably in super cahoots with the world government specifically. Which one it is, I don't know. Maybe it's the evil chick that we met at the beginning with like the huge whale robot or whatever, because she already kind of gives that vibe off that she's like evil. But I think that's I don't know. That might be a little too far fetched.
When Shaka went down to see Vegapunk, Vegapunk did say, "Who's that you got with you?" Like he doesn't know who they are. So it makes me think like maybe it's not one of the Vegapunks. Whoever shot Shaka.
So the only thing I'm iffy about is because they also gave a command to turn the Seraphine.
Yeah, that was York.
Okay, got it. Okay. Damn. Unless maybe they made another Seraphine that's special.
It's just hard to keep track of all the Vegapunks, isn't it?
There's a lot going on, man.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah. Okay, that's a whole mess. But so the next thing we could talk about is Elbaf, obviously. So Elbaf's coming up. So Ryan, how do you feel? What's your expectations for Elbaf? Because right now we saw that Shanks is just now leaving that.
I thought I knew.
Okay, same.
Samwise Wolf is apparently there. Not Samwise Wolf. Oh my God. Saul, yeah, Jaguar D Saul. He's down there. Which is crazy because we thought he was dead, but he's not. The whole Loki plot line is still there, where there was like the whole giant that got crazy with power. He's still alive apparently. I feel like that's probably the arc's villain, if they want to follow that. And I also don't think Big Mom's dead, because I feel like Big Mom needs to close her arc there. Obviously she left a whole mess in Elbaf, and I feel like that's got to be resolved at some point. So Ryan, how do you feel? Like what do you think? What are we to expect from Elbaf?
I think it's time for Usopp to become a hero. I think he's gonna go to Elbaf. He has his whole giant plot line. I am so excited for Usopp to do anything. Maybe he gets like, all of his lies become true. That's a theory.
Yeah.
And it's been proven time and time again. And he always had that big hammer he carries around that was just a complete lie. So maybe he gets something resembling like Mjolnir or something.
Oh yes.
How about you, SV?
I also I love the connection. I mean, because they've been showing throughout that like Usopp has connections with the giants and has gotten along with them, and so I could absolutely see him making it to Elbaf and it being and it's about time. It's been a while since Usopp's been like a central player and an arc, and Usopp's one of my favorite characters, so I would love to see that. Yeah. And yeah, I could definitely see some really cool things happening with Usopp there. I also agree with Ryan. I don't feel like Big Mom can be like out for good either, because it just wouldn't feel like a totally cohesive ending for her story. Like I think she does, like, her ending in Elbath would just make sense because she just wanted a giant child so bad.
Yeah.
Obviously, Shanks also has a huge connection with the giants. That's where it gets a little iffy for me, because if Shanks sticks around, I feel like it's not time for the Straw Hats to go yet. Like, you know, it's not time for them to meet yet. So I don't know, like, if it ends up being like a Shanks heavy arc, then maybe the Straw Hats won't actually go there. I'm not quite sure how that'll work out.
Do we know if Elbath is Shanks' territory?
It is.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. So I mean, that's another thing that's not going to be Luffy's territory, but no, that's cool. And you know, I really want to know. Obviously, I want to see Usopp get his like upgrade. I want to see Usopp get advanced conquerors observation. I said advanced
We haven't gotten to
observation.
see him use his observation hockey in kind of a while.
Does
A
he even
long
know he has
time.
it?
I don't know if he knows.
No. Last time we saw him use it was what, Dressrosa at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to see what goes on with all that. Obviously, I need to see an alliance. I'm for some reason expecting Rouge to come in this arc because
he's the only one missing.
Rouge, yeah, the one of the worst generation. He's the only worst generation character we haven't seen make any major moves in the story. So I feel like a Rouge could come here at some point. I don't know what his role is at this point. It's getting kind of close to the end. So you know, what other better time but now to do that? But
wait, didn't they say that in a previous chapter that what happens the following night would be known as the Egghead incident, and we still don't know what that is?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Would you think a Rouge did something?
I just realized, like, we're talking about Elbath, like we don't even know what big thing is going down right now.
No, we still don't know.
Not at all.
And we still don't really know everything that happened at the, what do they call it? The reverie where all the government leaders got together. Like, that's still, they keep being like the crazy thing, that wild thing that happened. I'm like, what happened? What happened? We're like barely getting pieces, because for a while there, I was just like, where is everybody? Like, where's Vivi? Is she okay? Is she dead? Like, and then also we hadn't heard anything from Sabo. I was like, what's going on? But they're giving us like little hints and pieces to like put it together. I wonder if they'll do the same thing with everything that happens at Egghead, which I hope not, because that will be infuriating. Like, I just need to know.
Yeah, I don't expect to hear anything until we get a reunion with Vivi, because I feel like at this point she's destined to join back with the crew for
hope
good.
So.
Yeah,
it's gotta happen. Though I wish Walpole wasn't there.
Yeah, that was so random. I didn't.
I hate Walpole.
Yeah. His laugh is obnoxious.
His whole everything about him is obnoxious.
Yeah. I was really shocked to see Vivi on a plane on the blimp with Morgans. I want to know what's going on with all that. But because I was always under the impression that we're going to get at least like one more girl in the Straw Hat, right? And for a long time, I thought that Yamato was going to be that person. Obviously, I got played. I got blindsided. But listen, if Vivi comes back, you know what? I'm going to let it pass, because I was like, this is the only way that I will accept no Yamato, because like, what y'all doing at this point? But listen, I'm okay with a Vivi reunion with the Straw Hats. So, I wanted to ask, so Sarah Beth, how do you feel about this next topic? Emu. Emu obviously is a big player. We know barely anything, obviously. Do you think he's our endgame boss, or do you just think that he's just like, it could be a she as well? Like, what do you think that their role is here?
I personally do think we're looking at an endgame boss here. I mean, because now I might be getting it wrong, but I know I read online like Emu translates, it's like a religious figure. And so I feel like One Piece has done a lot of like setting Luffy up against like godlike people, right? I mean, it started with Ineru, who like thought he was a god, and then the gods, these celestial dragons, and now he's eaten the Nika Nika fruit, like in his like, I feel like he's becoming a god. I personally think Law is going to use the power on him. He's going to become immortal. I feel like it's moving towards like Luffy's becoming a god. And so it just makes sense to me then, like with everything that they've set up with Emu and the fact that like even his name is like kind of like a reference to that. I do feel like I see him being the final villain. I could be wrong. You never know. It's One Piece. Like there could still be a surprise, but that's my gut feeling. I do think he's gonna end up being like the big bad at the end of it.
How about you, Ryan?
Yeah, and Emu backwards is Umi, which means sea. So, we
Oh,
don't know much about like why are these devil fruits existing? Why is there interaction with the sea like this? So
Mhm.
maybe Emu holds some more mysteries that we don't know about in terms of that.
Yeah, obviously Emu's been around for a while. The straw hat, the giant straw hat, as you will, was in their
Mm.
kingdom
that
and all
really
that
threw me
stuff.
off.
Obviously, I think that's Joy Boys. I think Joy Boy was a giant at this
It must
point.
have been
Yeah.
a giant. But if when we go to Elbath, surely we'll get a little more
I
hint for
hope.
that.
I do hope that. And I feel like because at least as far as we're aware, there was like some surgeon that did the immoral surgery before. I feel
Yep.
like Emu got the immoral surgery on themselves, and that's why they're still around for the longest time. Uh,
They have to keep
I'm
doing it too to keep him alive
yeah,
because it's not like immortal completely. It just expands
yeah.
the lifespan.
And I just have some questions because we still have that scene with Emu where there's like the three pictures and there's like knives on them and
Yes, yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
obviously Luffy, Blackbeard, probably because they have the Will of D, and then Vivi. When after we see him hold up the picture of Vivi, and they're asking which is the next light. Well, that I don't even know if that's necessarily true anymore because they ask what is the next light that you want to erase from history. I don't think it's Cobra anymore because we actually saw an island get destroyed off the face of the earth in that one chapter where we saw Sabo again. So obviously that's not the kingdom. But I want to know what Emu wants with Vivi at this point. Like what is Emu's overall plan? I don't know, but I thought it was interesting to think about. But yeah. So after that, so Ryan, my next question. So we
Mhm.
have the straw hats. I guess we can get to some straw hat talk. So we have all the crewmates and their dreams are coming up very soon, obviously. Uh who do you think is like the first person to get their dream actually completed?
Zoro.
You think so?
Because I think that is because Zoro wants to be the best swordsman, right? And
Okay.
out of all the goals, his is really the only one that can be completed before the One Piece is actually Frankie's as well.
And Usopp's too.
Yeah.
Brave
Well,
Warrior of the Sea, yeah.
I have a theory that
Because
Usopp's going to die to get that, but we'll
yeah,
keep.
No, do not even speak that.
I heard it before and it was convincing, but it would probably be like it would make him maybe the best character. I don't know.
I think him dying, it'd be like he's a
Like he's
brave
already up
warrior.
there for me,
I
but
think that's a headcanon. I'm sorry I had to interrupt. I had to put that in your mind, but I do think he's going to die at some point. But he dies and he's officially a brave warrior. I see it. I see it. But keep going, Ryan. My bad.
yeah, but Luffy and Sanji's dream I think are one and the same because to get the all blue, like all the fish in the sea combining, you need to get rid of like the red line,
hmm
right? So,
Well, also, I mean, technically, you can also say Nami's because to
oh yeah,
complete her map, well, not necessarily. I feel like
yours
Nami's
might go on a little longer because there's tons of
probably
islands
off
I haven't
screen
been
when the
to.
story when
Yeah.
the story's over. Yeah, they skipped a lot of islands actually. Now that I think about it. So maybe hers will take a while. Robin's what does Robin want?
Robin's might actually be first.
She
What,
well, she wants to know like the void history. I think
okay,
she'll probably get the last piece at Laugh Tale too.
yeah.
Hmm.
So maybe we get Robin's around the same time as we get Luffy's. Uh Chopper. I mean, Choppers can honestly happen at any random time. Not until the Wano's fixed with the whole
Yeah.
laugh, and then who else is left? Jinbei. That could happen pretty
Wait,
quickly.
what is Jinbei's dream?
he wants basically fishermen and the land people to just be
Oh,
able to coexist.
oh, true.
Vision
Yeah,
of Luffy destroying Fishman Island.
yeah. That also did happen too with the Madam Shirley.
Shirley?
Nothing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Madam
Yeah.
Shirley. And then you also got Brooke. Brooke and Laboon, that's actually pretty easy too once you get the entire amount. If you get the whole wall situation fixed, then yeah, like I feel like whatever the One Piece is, well, actually, no, there's theories that it's like some weapon that'll knock down mountains or whatever. I don't think that's gonna happen, but
That's why he's been hitting his head on the wall. He knows he's not supposed to be there. He wants to go back.
well, if the elders with whatever ancient weapon they have decide to destroy the entire line, then boom, Laboon can get reunited with Brooke. But who am I missing at this point? Is there
I feel
anybody else?
like they've just the way they've painted it though, like it's been several times where it's like after we find the One Piece, we will come back. Like we'll
Yeah.
go after we do
Yeah.
this. So I feel like that's a good sign for Brooke because I don't think this series is gonna end without Brooke reuniting with Laboon. And I know
Mhm.
Oda has hinted that a Straw Hat might die. That's my main reason for thinking it won't be Brooke because I don't think they're actually gonna meet Laboon until after they get the One Piece. And so I think Brooke is actually kind of safe in that regard. I don't think that I don't think he's a possibility for being one of the Straw Hats that might die.
Watch out for Usopp, man. So I'm just letting you know.
No,
that.
I hate that though. It can't be Usopp.
I don't know.
No.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's everybody, unless I'm missing someone. But yeah, I'm really excited to see the first dream get completed. But so I have another question. So SB, this could be for you. So we have the world government because we're talking endgame at this point. So what would the state of the world government look by the end of the story? Is it going to be controlled by sword members? Is it going to be controlled by like what Aokiji or something? Like I don't even fully know what the end goal or the end plans for a lot of these admirals are at this point. Is Kobe going to be running it? Like, what do you think?
It's hard for me to imagine an ending of One Piece without the world government just being eradicated. I feel like it's so important. Like Luffy's just so like I want to be free, and I feel like
Yeah.
that's been a theme throughout it. Like not just like free, like not in prison, but like free to follow and accomplish your dreams.
Yeah.
Right. And so I feel like the world government has always consistently represented like an organization that stops or limits people from being able to like be free. So I mean it's like from like a logical perspective when I think like yeah, but there's got to be some sort of structure for a world to
Yeah,
like
the Navy
that's just not how
can't
things
go.
work. But
Yeah.
I also have to remind myself it's a fictional world, so
Okay.
maybe it really will just be eradicated and there won't be any sort of like set overarching structure. Maybe just each island has like their own way and everyone's free to live on whatever island they want to under whatever leadership is good for them, maybe something like that. I definitely think the world government is not going to be around in any shape or form by the end of it.
Is that including the Navy?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I wonder what if they do go down that path when there's characters like Smoker, Kobe. I mean, if Garp and Sengoku are still around, those two, like what their paths would be at that point. Because I think what's
Yeah.
Kobe's dream like? I want to be
That's true.
head.
He does
An
want to be like
admiral.
a
Yeah.
Navy. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. That's a good point because then it makes me feel like they would have to still be around. But I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of the like
Fujitora too, by the way.
good. I love Fujitora. A lot of the good like Navy people have all had a very similar arc where they're consistently realizing that everything's not always black and white and that that they really shouldn't trust the world government. And like I mean you see it right from the beginning with Smoker and Tashigi, but you also see it with Kobe, like that all the lines are getting blurred for them as time goes on. So I stand by my statement that the world government will be gone, but I will revise it because that's a very good point. I think maybe the Navy will stay around, but it will be free from like the shackles and oppression that the world government is putting on them.
For sure, because you also got to think of the revolutionaries as well. I completely forgot about them. But once it's all said and done, like, what's Dragon going to do? You know, like, do they plan to basically run anything after they're done? Or are they just trying to free everybody and then just go into the shadows? Like, I don't really know what their full plan is either.
So little about Dragon.
Yeah,
we haven't even gotten like really tidbits yet. Like we're just left empty-handed, which is frustrating, but I'm sure it is to come. So it's something to look forward to.
We're gonna need about 10 Dragon chapters, I think, at least.
At least, yes, yeah. I need to know what's going on in that head.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, we're finally getting Dragon content. You know, you saw the whole Vegapunk flashback. You know, so I need to see who Luffy's mom is at that point too, because that's
Crocodile.
Definitely, please.
That's what Eva knows.
So Ryan, we talked about the governments and pirates. So what about the war alert system at this point? Because we got Buggy. You know, you're a Buggy stan. So we have, well, Sarah Beth is too.
Are you a Buggy stan? Wait, hold on.
Oh my god!
I actually have my little Buggy figure right here. I love Buggy so much.
My Zoro one's over there. But what is the plan with these High Cross Knights? What is Boa and even God? What's
Weevil?
Weevil, thank you. Like what are we gonna do with all these?
I forgot about Weevil. Oh my goodness.
Oh god, where do I start? I guess Buggy. So Buggy's found himself in a great position once again by accident. And I love it that it keeps happening.
Yes.
You know, I almost want it's difficult, but I almost want Buggy to be Pirate King.
I think it's gonna happen for like a second or something.
I want him to get his hands. Yeah, I want him to get his hands on the One Piece and then just
someone like
happens.
Completely knocks him out. Like, get out of here.
Or maybe he just doesn't want it, because I think it's pretty clear now that the One Piece might not necessarily actually be treasure. So I could also see it being a situation where maybe there is treasure on the island, but then there's also like this separate thing that's the One Piece, and Buggy's like has the One Piece and is like, I don't want this, and like just goes for the treasure, which he deserves.
Captain Johnson. The only reason I'm hesitant, I know you didn't see the movie. I don't want to spoil anything because I don't know if you plan on ever seeing them, but there's a theme related to the One Piece in that movie. And Buggy gets something that is related to like, oh, like maybe I can, you know, there's a treasure related to the One Piece, basically. I'm not going to spoil it for you or anyone watching, but Buggy seems very.
Which movie is this one?
One Piece, Stampede.
Okay, yeah, I haven't watched that one yet.
I'm not gonna spoil you, but there's something in that, and he just seems he, along with everyone else, seems very interested in this, and he tries to run off with it at one point in the movie. But that's why I'm like, and now I'm seeing Shanks. I'm like, maybe. I'm like, if you have the opportunity to get it, I feel like everyone's going to get it. But knowing Buggy, maybe he's the type to like try to sell it for like a lot of money or something. Like, I don't know what Buggy's capable for at this point.
I could also see it happening too, because when Buggy gets sick originally as a kid and can't go to Laugh Tale, like Shanks makes that comment, like, it's okay, like me and Buggy are gonna go when we're like, we'll go on our own ship. And I just feel like Oda's the type of writer that he doesn't just like put stuff in there for no reason, you know? And so I feel like that might have been foreshadowing that somehow or another, those two are actually going to be the ones that go to Laugh Tale first again. And we know that Shanks wants to go and get the One Piece. So
yeah, I don't even know does he know what the One Piece is, right?
I don't think they know.
Okay, got it. So yeah, that'll be interesting. And then I mean, you also got the other two members of the High Cross Knights. You got Mihawk and Crocodile, which I was so shocked to see Crocodile back in the story. I thought that was dope. But Mihawk specifically, I think him being in this group makes things interesting because I was like, what is Mihawk's purpose outside of just being there for Zoro, right? And I actually thought, I had a hunch that Mihawk potentially gets killed before you fight Zoro. I'm iffy now.
You say the worst things.
Listen. Because now that I see Perona on the Blackbeard Island, Mihawk's gonna want to save her, I would assume, and Shiryu's over there. I feel like Shiryu potentially puts Mihawk down, and then Shiryu becomes the greatest swordsman, and then technically Zoro can still get that title by defeating Shiryu. That might be a cop-out though, maybe. So maybe Zoro gets that title beforehand, and then Mihawk goes saves Perona and then dips. So maybe that's the angle that they're going for. But at this point, Mihawk's just a plot device for Zoro. But I mean, I still like Mihawk, so it's okay. Crocodile, I'm not fully sure what we're going to do with Crocodile at this point, other than him probably just wanting to get money.
Well, there's something between him and Eva. I mean, there's a lot of like theories and I think some joke theories about their connection, but like obviously that's going somewhere because it got brought up. So there's still like something to learn about Crocodile too, which I think will be interesting. I also wondered if, so we saw in the latest chapter that Cross Guild has put a bounty out on Kobe.
Yeah.
So I also wondered if that was like a way to set up an altercation between Cross Guild and the Straw Hats. Because if Luffy and Kobe end up reunited for whatever reason, and they're trying to come after Kobe, I could definitely see then Luffy stepping in, you know what I mean? And then that could be the impetus for Zoro and Mihawk finally having their showdown. Though I also feel like I'm not ready for that yet.
That's actually a pretty good point because Alvida is with Buggy and she is the only one in the story besides like crew members with Luffy that know that Kobe and Luffy know each other.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's a really good point.
Yeah,
I didn't think about that. Point. I mean, she kind of threw that man under the bus very quickly too, which is wild. Yeah, that's a good point.
And they even said that Kobe had like a significant bounty on him compared to other people in his position, which could just be because he's like a public figure at this point. Like we know he's kind of like a public hero, but it also feels like a little bit of a cop out for me because like they're using that as a plot device for why Blackbeard wanted him and wanted him alive. So then it feels like a little bit of a cop out for them that to also just be the reason that he has a big bounty from the Cross Guild. I feel like there might be something more to that bounty. So
for sure, I want to know what even qualifies people for certain bounty systems. I doubt that Oda's going to waste a lot of time on that, but that'll be interesting as well. Even the hunters getting hunted. So what other warlords are there? Obviously, so Weevil. I feel like Weevil and his mom, obviously, they got something going on, of course. They're trying to hunt down Marco and the rest of the Whitebeard pirates. But Weevil apparently protected the people of the village that Whitebeard was always protecting. So, you know, I don't think Weevil is right now getting gassed up to be a very powerful man. The Navy are very hesitant to like take him on. Marco and the rest of the Whitebeard pirates are afraid of this guy. So he's got some strength. I want to see how strong his strength, because, you know, like we've gotten like X Drake and they show him like destroying a town. Like obviously that's not too hard at this point. So I want to see how strong Weevil is.
Do you think he's really Whitebeard's son?
I think he is now.
I think he is too.
I don't know. I feel like what's the name of his mom? What's her name again?
I forget what her name is.
Whatever her name is.
Buckingham, is it?
Buckingham.
Oh, that does sound right.
Name is. I feel like, I don't know why I feel like she's
Buckingham Stussy.
Yep.
Okay.
God.
Remember, Weevil is captured right now by the Marines.
Stussy's a clone of her, right?
Yep.
Crazy.
Oh my goodness. Okay. I had forgotten about that too. There's so much going on.
Egghead is every chapter.
Damn. So could Weevil be an experiment? Let me stop playing. Think a little too hard.
Well,
I
wait,
don't
yeah,
know.
that's true. Like he could be like a clone gone wrong.
Yeah, that I forgot that Stussy was a clone. That actually would open a lot of doors. It's not like they haven't tried already. We see the Seraphine, but yeah, that's crazy. So who else is there? Boa. Boa, she doesn't want to get in the mix. She just wants to live in her kingdom and do whatever she wants.
I don't want anybody to talk shit on Hancock ever again after what
Oh
she
no,
did to Blackbeard's whole crew when he was
absolutely
there.
not.
Yeah.
No, she's up there. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think. I don't think there's. I mean, Doflamingo, I guess. Like
Because he's still
yeah,
alive.
yeah,
Yeah,
he's
he's just locked
still
up
a
in
player.
prison. He's coming back for sure at some point. Otherwise, they would have just killed him.
I mean, they try to send an assassin after him because he knows the secrets. I think he knows who Emu is, and
Probably.
yeah, and they try to send an assassin down to pull down just to kill him, which is wild if you think about it. But Doflamingo is obviously still a major player, and I feel like I wouldn't be shocked if he is one of the people to actually give a lot of information about this Emu guy to like Luffy and them. They're like, you know, this guy is a real problem. So that's also something else to think. But so I guess one of the last few topics, unless I think of anything else beforehand, I want to touch up on the moon. So obviously Anel is on the moon right now. There's obviously some history up there, and you know, there was an ancient society up there. Do we expect the Straw Hats to go to the moon at any point?
I hadn't thought about that.
I mean, now that we got Vegapunk, it's possible, but like, what's the reason? Why would we need to go there?
I can't really see us spending a whole arc on the moon at this point. I think if anything, Enel will just come down from the moon with whatever he has and explain his situation.
Listen,
Yeah.
I go ahead, Sarah.
No, that probably sounds more likely to, because things are just getting really crazy. It seems like it would be kind of it would be like too much to have them completely leave like literally the atmosphere to go somewhere else when there's so many moving parts that I feel like the Straw Hats need to be a part of, like on the surface of the earth.
Yeah.
So, but I definitely think, I don't think that you know, lit up there for no reason. I definitely think he's coming back at some point too, as a good guy or a bad guy. Who knows?
You know, Oda doesn't spend a bunch of time on a cover page story for nothing. So like, there's obviously something there. If it were up to me, I would say take a Naruto approach. Naruto waited till a movie to explore that. You don't need to take time from the anime or the manga. Just do a little short movie segment up there and then have them come back. But you know, to each their own. You know, it's not that realistic at this point because there's so much going on Earth. Maybe we could see when we get Void Century information that something happened up there. That will also be cool.
True.
I personally, I expect the same amount of time we spent with Odin flashbacks, I fully expect for Void Century flashbacks with Joy Boy. So I better get like 2 months worth of content for the Void Century. But yeah, you know, so we you know, we gotta see and wait. But yeah, so I think that's all the topics I got for today, guys. Do we have any last things we want to touch up on?
There was one thing I noticed when we were talking about characters' dreams. We don't actually know what Luffy's real dream is because he only told, I believe, Ace, Sabo, and Shanks.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And what's so crazy is, it's funny this came up because I was just talking about this with someone else today. You don't even know that he told Shanks until he meets Raleigh. Because then Raleigh just mentions like, oh, I know who you are because Shanks told me about you and said you had the same dream as Roger. And it's like, it's just so weird that like the pacing, it's such a long con because you don't even get that piece of information until like so far in. And yeah, we know it's the same as Roger's, but we don't have a clue what it is.
Yeah, because Roger's dream couldn't have been to be the Pirate King since he was the first one.
No.
Right, yeah.
Some people think, and this is very Luffy, that he just wants to have a big dinner with everybody. And since he felt so so strongly about like people not eating a Wano. Maybe like it could just be something related to food, or maybe it's just freedom. I mean, I think him also just want to be the most free person is his dream, and the only way to obtain that is the One Piece. But we also need more backstory on Roger at that point to kind of just like align dreams. So I don't know what it could be, but I think it's going to be one of the goofiest things ever because everyone died at the last.
Yeah.
It's got to be something silly.
His crew's reaction was like, "Is that even possible? Can you really do that?"
Yeah.
Anything's possible with Monkey D. So But yeah, so that's our podcast. This was a very fun first episode. I always enjoy talking anime with Ryan, and Sarah Beth, thank you so much for gracing us with your presence.
Thank you for having me. This was super fun.
If you ever want to come on again and talk about anything, just let us know.
I also am into Bleach, so if you do Bleach ones,
I will 100% call you. Listen, that anime is crazy.
So, I'm not caught up on the manga for that one, but I'm caught up on the anime. So.
We can talk about the anime, everything that happened to the anime so far.
I think I'm gonna read it soon, though. Anyways, so it probably won't take me long. I'm finishing Dr. Stone, and then I'm gonna read Bleach. So
the anime did just come back, didn't it?
Yeah, the anime's coming back. The manga is good too.
Yeah.
Oh, Ryan finished the manga already. I'm behind.
I'm deep into it right now.
Yeah, the content I think in this next season is some of my favorite.
Nice.
It picks up, right after everything gets settled with Tsukasa. I feel like it really starts.
Yep.
To pick up.
Okay. I'll make sure to hit you up for Bleach though, for sure, or Dr. Stone or something. But Sarah Beth, where can people find you, and what are you getting into?
So I don't really do much online.
That's fine.
So you can catch me on Twitter. My Twitter username is SB_EEP. It's also that on Instagram. I don't do a lot of social media stuff, but I am a voice actor, so I do have a Fiverr. You can find the link on both of those. So if you're ever looking for someone to do some voiceover for you, hit me up. So yeah.
All right, Ryan, where can people find you? What you getting into?
You can find me on Twitter at Plat Ryan or Plat D Ryan, and I'm doing a whole lot of nothing right now. I'm just existing. I use Twitter. I browse it. Nothing else.
I wish I was like that. Okay. And like usual, you can find me at 8Ball Bangers on all social media platforms. You can find me usually podcasting about reality television over at Rob Has a Podcast, or over here at Silent Podcast talking about not only reality TV but animated content, anime, music. I talk about literally everything. It depends on what I feel like when I'm waking up. So until the next episode of the Big 3 podcast, I'm Isaiah. Have a good one. Bye.